Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Tyrone Rose Show, episode 19. If you're listening to this, I want to let you know the full video is on YouTube. It's awesome. It's a great experience as well. Enjoy this episode. I am interviewing a Latin artist and someone who I consider a friend, Skip2Dip. Enjoy. Hey, there we go. Hey, hey.
Andamos normalitos con los cristales bajitos. Tranquilitos comprando par de hielitos. Tenemos par de baby, nos llaman papacitos.
Let's go.
Tienen ese booty que sabe a coquito.
Andamos normalitos con los cristales bajitos. Andamos normalitos con los cristales bajitos.
Oh man. What's up? Episode 19. Welcome back to the Tyrone Rose Show, brought to you by the Circle Club. I am here with the one and only Skip2Dip. What's good, bro?
Thank you, bro. Thank you for
showing
having
up.
me, man.
Of course.
It, man. Blessed.
Yeah, man. Long time overdue, man. We were talking about this like a month or two ago, man? Like when was that when I met you?
I would say probably a month and a half, yeah.
Yeah, I mean time flies, right?
Chris's birthday.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Architect, yeah.
But yeah, Skip is he calls himself a rapper. I mean, he's a musician, man. He's an artist to me, you know. And so I just want to bring him on because I think you're a really brilliant artist and creative mind, and I wanted to have you on here, to get your music out there, but also for people to get to know you as a person. So
dope.
Yeah, man. So you've been doing a lot of stuff recently. You just had a couple interviews. That song Normalito, I mean that was. I mean, you guys did the thing with the music video. Chris
Thank you, bro.
was a part of it. Your manager Brian.
Yes.
What was that like? Creating that music video.
So creating that music video was very special. And first of all, thank you for having me on here,
bro.
Of
course.
Doing your thing as well. Too, with the content. I'm loving the new setup.
Thank you.
Everything, bro. And I appreciate you allowing me to be episode 2.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I mean, I was like, we got to get some dip and drip to episode 2, Episode 1, I brought my boy Yao out,
Shout out Yao, bro. Yeah, we're going to be working soon, bro.
Definitely.
Big shout out to Yao. The music video, man, the process was dope. So the idea came about, honestly, from Chris. Chris, architect, the director. He just called me on the phone. We've always maintained communication. And before that, he had only heard the song once when he came by. And from that day, I showed him the whole EP, Los Pikachu EP, which is out now. You guys can go get that. And the song that he fell in love with the most was Normalito, which is the last song on the EP. And he said, yo, Skip, I really like that joint. I'd have to hear it again, but off of just the feeling I got from it from when you showed me the song and I was sitting there in your studio, wouldn't it be crazy if we shoot a music video in an airport?
Yo, that's what's crazy about him. Like, see, there's a couple people, and I'm definitely going to get him on here too. There's a couple people you meet in your life where you're like, yo, what are you talking about, right? You're like, what are you talking about? And they have a vision and they make it happen. And he's one of them dudes, for real.
And so the video is, it's 2 parts to the video where one scene is in the airport, and then the other scenes are in the jet skis and, with the nice fancy cars.
Yep.
The jet skis and the nice fancy cars we had already thought about, and my collaborator Leo we had that in mind, but then Chris brought that vision about the airport to the table, and it just brought it to a whole nother level. So when I'm on the phone with Chris, we're both in traffic. Most of our conversations always happen in traffic. Every time I call Chris, he's in traffic, I'm in traffic.
That's that Boston life.
Yes. And so I had to pause for a second. I'm like, I want to say, Chris, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But I heard him out.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, keep talking to me, and he was like, I think if we just call a place up and we just ask for what we want. This is America. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
And so right away, immediately, I contacted another airport. I forget what city it's from. I think Norwood.
Okay,
Norwood
I don't know
International Airport. Yep, I called them. There was no answer. They didn't answer at all. After that, I did my Google research. I didn't attempt to contact the Logan Airport because obviously it's a very busy public airport.
Right.
After that, we contacted the airport where we did the music video at, and we were able to, get in contact with the president and the owner, and it was like a month and a half long process of just paperwork, contracts, and my biggest takeaway from that experience is that anything is possible if you just, it all starts with a vision, and then you have to execute, you have to take the initiative. And it takes a team.
Absolutely. See, that's the biggest thing is like a lot of people, and I feel like especially in Boston, you hear that a lot where it's like a lot of individualism and like people like aren't trying to, like when I met you, like the first thing I was like, we were just talking, you know what I mean, bro? Like I was like, yeah, you know, I'm not really in the music game anymore. Like I guess I was in that world producing and doing all that stuff for a long time. And like you kind of sparked that back for me. I was, dang, but like Chris and me, the reason we connected was just like video and talking and all that stuff too. But so I'm sitting there with you at this party and we're going on and we're talking. And
Chris introduced us. Chris always has a vision.
Exactly. Chris was like, yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work, but I feel like you guys could. Like, I was like, all right, yeah, let's talk, let's figure it out. And honestly, like, you know, this is just the beginning. Like, I have big plans. I was like, I want to do straight up music. I want to go crazy with the music video. I mean, we talked about, you know, doing something Halloween and all that stuff. And, you know, maybe next year, you know, we'll find out. But the big thing, just from talking to Chris that I took away from it was you have to ask for what you want, right? Like, a lot of people don't ask. Like, you're like, oh, I can't do this, or I don't know this person. It's like, the worst thing you can get is a no. They say no. And, you know, a lot of times too, especially with like, let's say a company or you're trying to rent a car or, you know, get a feature. It's like a lot of times like it's not due to you. It's due to the circumstance, time, whatever. And, you know, and I'm sure the dude told you, he's like, look, you guys ever want to do this again or whatever, you know, stay in contact. And that's all you got to do is just be good and decent. Be genuine, be yourself, genuine, right?
And, be transparent. Ask for what you want. And timing is everything. Timing is super important. And just taking the risk. Like, I'll be honest, funny story about this as well is that I was on the phone. I was, you know, sending out emails with Chris, but the first point of contact is me being on the phone, pretending to be Chris. I said, "How you doing?" Chris, architect. I have a production company, video production out in LA, and we were flying into Boston for a few weeks. I live in Boston, but we're making this whole thing up. I'm on the phone with a whole different voice.
Don't matter.
Chris, architect, et cetera, et cetera. And then there would be times where, until we finally met, we had to admit to the guy, like, hey, well, he didn't even notice, actually. But
yeah. I
try to make my voice similar. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, like...
you fake it till you make it, man.
You fake it till you make it, but, you know, you do it with good intentions.
Definitely.
And,
I mean, as long as you're not trying to wrong someone on that journey, man, that's all that matters. I mean, the Circle Club motto is just be you. And it's because that does take you places. Like, what's crazy about that phrase to me is, like, you'll have someone who is like an extremely talented painter, singer, you know, they like gaming, whatever, but they don't do it because they're afraid of how this person will react to that person. And then you hear anyone who's successful, man, it's all because they're confident in who they are as a person. You know what I mean? And so... yeah, man. Let's get into more about you, though. I mean, we're talking a lot of general here, and like this guy, that's how humble he is, man. It's like he's out here giving you guys free game. I'm like, you know, giving out the gems. But like, I want to get back to you. So, your music background, like, tell us a little about that. Like, your family, is anyone in your family a musician or what is it? Yeah.
So I think no. I think I'm the first one to really take an interest in music to the point where, you know, I'm making this my life. And I don't come from a musical background. You know, there's dancers in my family, so there's definitely art, you know, creatives. I have cousins that are amazing painters. But music, no.
So what drew you to music then? Like, you know, a lot of artists say it was a way to express yourself. There was a breakup, a heartache, you fell in love. You know, what was it that got you to be like, man, this is my passion? I mean, because you're damn good at it too, bro. I'm not just saying that like friend of friend. Like man, like honestly, like I grew up, my dad, and no one, it was kind of similar in my family. We have some singers and, you know, church background kind of thing. Yeah, creatives. But no one was really interested in music the way I was. But my dad, like, he listened to all types of weird music. Like, I mean, like, I'm talking electronica, like French. He doesn't speak French. He listens to French music, classical music. And the thing is like, what, by him doing that, it kind of gave me all these different, like, perspectives. And when I listen to your music, I don't know if this is true, but I don't hear just straight, you know, Latin music. I hear influences from all over. I almost feel like I hear like movie influence sometimes, TV, like, you know, the Pikachu, you know, I'm like, and like to me, I'm like, that's what like, as an artist drives me to you. I'm like, you're connecting, you know, and you're sharing your culture with people who aren't really used to that culture. So
Right.
I'm curious, what's your influence there and kind of what drove you to be that musician?
Yeah, so before I ever wrote down a lyric, I was just a fan of music, listening. I love listening to all types of music. Growing up in Boston, you get the privilege of growing up around many different cultures. Latino, American, African American influences. You get, Jamaican influences. You get
a lot of Caribbean,
Caribbean, Cape Verdean, and even the Asian population out here, that's
true.
out here. So growing up, I just listened to all the genres, mostly urban, but reggaeton and hip hop was one of my. I remember the first day, like I heard 50 Cent was, Mini Man, and it was from my older cousins, all this music that they used to listen to, and the CDs and their Honda Civics in their car with the music blasting.
Yeah.
You fall in love with that, and so before I ever tried or dared to create it, I made sure that I was always up to date with the newest music, always up to date with obviously what I love, but that helped me expand my taste and diversify my musical
your background, your palette, really,
correct,
yeah,
palette, yes,
everything.
Exactly.
And so Normalito obviously is doing numbers, man. It's doing great. I'm so proud of you, honestly, and Chris, man. Like you guys did your thing with that song. What was the influence or inspiration behind that? And like I don't speak a drop of Spanish, man. Azul, gato, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got a little bit of French in there, but but like. Nah, like what was the inspiration for that? Because I don't even know the song, but I'd be in my car like I mean, your melodies, man, they bop 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 bop, they hit. So what was the influence for that song?
So there was no real influence. The song, we found that beat on on online, and once we threw the beat on, I just in that moment I was recording the EP with my partner Leo, and we were just playing beats, and then that was one of the ones that I stopped at. And those were the hook were the first words that came out of my mouth.
For real.
And so from there on, we just built on it. But the vision continued to develop after the feel was put out by me, and my partner Leo.
Yeah.
Once we got that out, then everything else developed. The music video idea. Then we knew what we had, right?
Right.
You're just shooting straight feel, and straight emotion, and the vibe it formulated in such a beautiful way to now it's doing the numbers that it's doing, and that's also something new to me as well. The music marketing and the numbers going up and all that. It's something that is dope, man. So I mean, it has that movie feel. You feel like you're getting elements of a movie when you listen to it, and I'd say that it just came from the man above, from God. I think it was just a blessing, and the melodies, they work, and so shout out to the producer.
Right, there you go, man.
Setting the vibe. Yeah,
and you mentioned earlier too, like a team, right? Like so, it's like you have a team, like shout out Leo, like you guys are working together. I'm curious because I think a lot of people, they love artists, man, Lil Wayne, Adele, whoever it is, and when you have like a hit, and this song, like. In terms of where you are in your career, I think is a hit personally. But, if this song was on the radio, man, I'm telling you, like, this song would be huge. So I think we're curious, the audience, like, how does that even happen? Like, when you're listening to it, you're like, yo, this is it? Or do you feel it you guys in the studio? Like, or you had no idea?
Initially, like, the first day, you're not going to feel it.
Yeah.
You're gonna come across that feeling, or you're gonna come across that hit song. By working, just work, stay consistent. Like around that week that we were, creating the EP, we created the EP in like 2 weeks and a half.
That's fast.
There were like 4 or 5 a.m. sessions. Like we would get home super tired, and so you create so many, and then you look back and you hear. But we knew right away the next day when we couldn't stop listening to it. Yo, play it again.
There's something special. There's something special. Yeah.
And that's when it was raw. No auto tune, no nothing on it yet. So like, there's something special about it. They say that if your song sounds good a cappella with no beat, and you can still get somebody to rock with it, you got a dope song.
To me, man, I mean that's true, but to me. like the fact if I don't know Spanish and I'm still it's in my head, that to me I'm like, man, like
music has no language.
It doesn't. It really doesn't, man. Like I think music and food, those two things, man, it's just it translates. It translates, you know?
Just like a Gangnam Style translated.
Yo,
Gangnam Style. You guys can't forget
pulling
about
up the
Gangnam
Gangnam Style, right? Yeah, that's a classic. That's a classic.
We don't know what the hell he was saying.
I know, not at all. He could be saying something crazy, honestly. Like, but
yeah, shout out him.
Yeah, that's funny. So what is some advice you can give some of these other younger artists out here who are looking to kind of get into that field? Because the thing is, too, is I think a lot of people think that hit or whatever, you know, there's a lot of artists like Lil Nas who had an overnight success or like a Billie Eilish, but it's not really overnight.
No.
You know, it's not overnight. So how much work did you have to put in to get to this point where Normalito is where it is now? Like, I'm talking like, and it's funny too, you mentioned the 3 a.m., 4 a.m. thing is because if you're a musician, you already know 3 a.m. that's the time when like you it's like you get to 2 o'clock, man, and you just like you're giving up, and then boom, and then once it happens, you can't go to sleep.
Yes,
you can't go to sleep. So what's some advice for to keep going with that advice, but also how much work did you have to put in before Normalito really took off?
Yeah, I'd say my first advice is get sleep. Sleep is important. The rest is very important.
It is, yep.
And then before that, I started really making music in 2016. And when I say making music, that's when I, started to take it seriously, where I bought my own equipment, bought my own mic, and I didn't have a team around me at the time. It was just me in my room and learning on YouTube how to record myself. And so
YouTube is underrated for everything.
YouTube,
like, man, I'll tell you guys right now, too, is like, I'll tell you right now, I have been editing since I was 13 or 12. I'm now 26. Mm-hmm. I got a decade in this, in editing, and Adobe and all that. It took no teacher, nothing. YouTube is your teacher.
And you're still learning.
Yes, always. But the thing is, when you're beginning, that's when you have to, like, those hour-long videos. Mm-hmm. Like, now, since I'm, like, 10 years deep.
You're comfortable.
I'm, like, comfortable. So when I see a video like an hour, I'm kind of like, man, like, let me find the part that I really need.
Right.
But you can't do that. You got to stay with it, because after you get that hour session, that's like taking a $1,200 credit class.
Yeah, literally.
So you really got to, stay with it and keep learning and teaching. But yeah.
And yeah. No, I mean, it's a lot of hard work. It gets lonely sometimes, in the beginning, and it gets lonely. There's everyone's there when it's time to celebrate and party.
Absolutely.
But when it's time to put in the work,
yeah.
It gets lonely. And so you have to push through that. You have to push through that, and you have to always be the kid version of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't forget your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Be weird, whatever that means. But like those weirdest moments or those weirdest risks that you take to like say a thing, say a melody or put out a melody in a certain weird way or use a different tone of voice. Like all of that. That's where the fire is.
Definitely. I like that you said that too, because you can't play it safe. I'll give you guys a quick example. So I was watching the Great British Baking Show. You heard of that show?
The
Great British Baking Show. So it's like a competition show on Netflix, right? And basically they give them all these like tactics that they got to, you got to learn how to bake this way, or, put your hand behind your back kind of thing. Like, not actually, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Metaphorically. And there's this woman, she was like the sweetest lady, great personality. You could really vibe with her. Mm-hmm. But everything she did was simple. He was like, it tastes good, but it's just simple. I can get simple anywhere. If you're trying to win something, and in music and art, there's no winning, but you have these standards and goal you're trying to reach. If you're trying to reach that, you cannot play it safe.
No.
You have to get weird. You got to get creative and crazy. Yeah. What honestly gravitated to me is like, we were talking, and I was like, I don't really listen to country, but I would. I would listen to country because you might pull something from there. You never know, man. Skip might be out here on the guitar one day, just be like, what?
Little Nas Skip.
Yeah, I'm saying. But for real. So you can't play it safe, and in your music you hear that. Like, you told me you never sing. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't believe you, bro. Honestly, that's not true.
I've never been one to sing in the shower. I've never been one to I growing up, I was really the quiet kid. I was really, and even in my family, I wasn't the most extroverted.
Wow.
Now, thanks to music and thanks to just being myself, and taking those risks and being vulnerable with, you know, putting your creations out into the world. Because, you know, being a musician, being a writer, those are things that, it takes a lot of, you have to be bold, and it puts you in a very vulnerable place when you share your work with the world.
Yeah.
You know, what you're doing, bro, is, you know.
I appreciate it.
And so, you know, those are the heroes of our generation, you know. I think that, I try to always keep an open mind.
Yeah, and you mentioned something earlier, too, that I thought was key, is like, you said it's almost like a safe space, right? Like, when you walk into the studio, like, you clown each other. That's just a Boston thing. Like, you know, you gotta, skip, blah, blah. Right. But, like, when it's time to work, like, nah, man, if you just came out of nowhere and was like, yo, T, this might sound crazy, but I think I want to yodel. Right. Like, if I'm an artist, I'd be like, all right, let's hear this. Right. If my reaction is yodel, bro, what are you talking about? Like, it's never going to work, because, like, that yodel might turn into something, and it's not even got to be your identity, but it might be a moment in the song that just really rocks. You know what I mean? Like Eminem and his music, like, everyone told him, oh, you know, why you got the blonde hair? That's crazy. And then Stan, everyone knows Stan now. You know what I mean? Like, that's a word now. You know, but like at the time, they're like, man, you know, this white rapper coming in here, and then he's got the blonde hair, and it didn't matter, because, like, that's true to who he wanted to be. And he saw the success and result. And sometimes, honestly, you might not see the success, but it doesn't matter, because if that's your passion, you stick with it, right? Exactly. And like Skip said, like, you have those moments where you feel vulnerable, or, I mean, I put a lot of videos on TikTok and just being silly and wigs and stupidness, but for me, I'm having fun with it. I'm being different. I'm being crazy, and, like, you know, I know that there's someone out there who is getting a quick laugh, or someone who it might make their day. Like, it's funny, like, you as an artist don't get to see the results sometimes, but the others do who are out there. So, like, I'm sitting in the car driving in traffic, and I'm like, oh, I'm bored out of my mind. I throw Normalito on, and now that drive becomes a little bit of a vibe and experience. You know what I mean?
In a movie.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I think that you have to learn as a creative, or you just have to forget about external validation. Validate yourself. Validate your own work. And then what the world does with it is out of your control. So the more you can accept that, the more you will create. The more fire you will create, the weirder you will get. And you know, don't go into like creating with too much planning. You know, obviously have an intention. Intention is everything as well.
Very important.
Timing is everything as well. Just because you made the song last night doesn't mean it has to go out for next week. You know, just it's all feel, and
Absolutely.
the universe will let you know. The universe will let you know. There's
a moment. So, in 5 years, what would you like to see your career? I'm curious, like, and just friend to friend, I would love to do this once a year where I just sit with you and like, yo, let's reflect on that last year video, bro.
God, I love it.
You know? So I want to ask you, 5 quick questions.
Okay.
What do you see yourself next year? Next year, what do you want to see yourself at as an artist?
As an artist. Next year, I see myself as an artist working with other artists I see myself as an international artist next year, honestly.
Ooh.
I see myself crossing waters, going to different countries. I see myself sharing my music with the rest of the world. I see myself putting a smile on a lot of people's faces. I see myself sharing my blessings with my work team. Sharing my blessings with my family, with my friends, and just continuing to grow. I see a better version of myself, even though I'm happy with how I am right now.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that I see myself being happier next year, because I'm already happy. And, I just see myself.
Yeah, you see yourself leveling up, right?
Literally.
Upgrading. Yeah, I know. You physically seeing him. So I see yourself being a little bit of comedian in your music, maybe a little, throw a couple laughs in there, because, I mean, he's a funny dude. Like, he tries to be low key, and sometimes you can see the shyness, but nah, I mean, this guy, he's legit. So my second question for you is, what's a challenge you have right now that you want to try to conquer by next year?
Challenge that I have right now that I want to try to conquer by next year is making music my full-time career.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Number 3, is there a specific location or state or place that you want to visit that you haven't visited yet?
Hawaii.
Okay.
I want to do Hawaii.
Okay, Hawaii.
I think right now Hawaii, there's many other countries and places, but Hawaii is a spot that.
All right, so we'll see next year if that dream has come
Next
true,
year,
bro. And who is one artist that is big time that you would love to work with?
I would love to work with Bad Bunny. I would love to work with Ozuna. I would love to work with Romeo Santos.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to work with Jessie Reyes. She is fire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if you heard of Jessie Reyes.
Yep.
Jessie Reyes. I would love to work with Nav.
Mm.
Nav is dope. I would love to work with producers. Let's talk about the producers. I would love to work with DJ Snake.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. I would love to work with Tiny.
Mm.
One of my idols, Tiny.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And the list goes on. But,
Yeah, okay. My last question for you is, right now, in 2021, who is your number one idol that, you look up to, that influences your music, and how has that person been an influence on you?
Okay. I'd say right now, in the moment, Bad Bunny. Just because... aside from the music, the guy makes amazing music.
Yeah.
Super talented, but the person that he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the things that he's accomplished in his 5-year career. I'm talking about Super Bowls. I'm talking about Madison Square Garden. I'm talking about record-breaking albums, sales, etc. Number one Latin artist in the world. And at one point, he was the number one artist in the world. I think he's like right there and there with Drake.
Yeah.
And big respect to Drake as well. But the time frame that Bad Bunny's done it in. But it's just the person that he is. He doesn't, let the fame change him. And so it's not easy. It's what he does is tough.
Yeah.
And, he's been blessed with a great team and he's been blessed with a great moment.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to have their moment,
Yeah.
And so he's done this with his heart. You can hear it in music. You can hear it in what he stands for.
Yeah.
When he does the music, what he shows in the music videos.
Yeah.
There's always a concept behind everything he does. There's always a concept behind every move. And so to be able to hear him in interviews and still feel like you're right there with him and he's not putting himself above anyone. He's not he's not just boasting about his accomplishments, which he's done so much. He's done an amazing amount of things. I think that the person is what's gonna live longer. His music is great, but his who he was as a person, who he is as a person is what's gonna keep him timeless.
Yeah. What I've gathered from this interview so far really is the big things for you is team.
Yes.
Team. You got to have a strong team. Mm-hmm. Being unapologetically yourself.
Yes.
Just being you. Not afraid to do that. Right. And taking risks, right?
Yes.
Because you wouldn't be here if you didn't just take those risks and talk to Chris or the airplane. If you stayed shy, like you said, more introverted, and then come out of your shell, then who knows where you'd be right now, right?
Yeah. Just if you have something, if you have an idea, just try to execute it right away. If you have a song idea, if you have a video idea, just try to execute it right away. At least try. Maybe not all of your visions or ideas are gonna come to life, but just the effort, the trying of it, and execute.
Is that how you get out of your writer's block?
Yeah. When I'm not, I can't write, I just listen to music and I throw on the instrumental itself. And, I've learned that in this life and in this world, there's distractions and then there's inspiration around us at all times, 24/7.
Always, yep.
So I've learned to, use my mind. And this is why I don't even walk around with headphones anymore, because there's a world around us.
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
listen to everything that's going on. So I've learned to use my mind for inspiration way more than I have for distraction. Right? And when I did say the distraction, it could be anything. It could be you on your phone. It could be you, on Netflix all day. It could be you gossiping with other people.
Yeah.
I've learned to just find inspiration. So, you know, my friends could be having a conversation. My mom could be saying something funny, and my mom's a hilarious woman. You know, I love her. She's my best friend. And
always.
I'll pick something out that she just said, and that might be the next hook.
Yeah. Yeah.
You drive by past a billboard, and there might be a phrase that connects with you. You don't know why, but if you felt something and you felt like it was a pausing moment for your mind, that's inspiration. So grab it and use it. You know?
It's funny because that's exactly my process too. Like if I'm about to make a TikTok, YouTube video, whatever, stream, like it's just seeing the world around you, and you know it's hard too because like like one of the major things I've learned over the last year with the coronavirus and the pandemic and all this craziness is like just to take moments in life and appreciate it. And like I think a lot of us too before this, like there was a lot of negative energy out there.
We were all closed in.
Very man, and like all you had is tunnel vision, and like you said, like gossiping or getting distracted by your whatever else it is. Like sometimes you want to see this movie or go to this game, but like if you planned to work in the studio, then that's what you got to do.
Correct.
Like there's always going to be the movie, the game, the girl, whatever, the guy, whatever you're, Exactly. But when it's time for your purpose, you got to be all into that.
You got to get in the zone.
Yeah.
And that creative version of yourself, when you're in that zone, that's the timelessness version of yourself. So learn how to recognize it, learn how to take advantage of it. And learn how to use it. And again, every day is different. As whatever routine it is that you have, whether it's I go to work and then I hit the gym and I get home, like don't look at it that way. Every day is different. Pay attention to the details. Every day is different, and grab your inspiration from your everyday.
Yeah, man, exactly. You got to get inspired by the stuff around you. I mean, I'm even just looking at you right now. Man, I got to take this chain off, man. Your chain's icy and it's too big for me. Like, I've been thinking about this for my own stuff. I'm like, dang, dog, this chain is tiny. Like, and every time I see you, I'm like, the hairstyle, the fashion. Like, so tell me about that, man. And don't even sit here and lie to me. Oh, I don't care, bro. I know. Like, tell me about the fashion. No. Like, how'd that come about?
I'm not a materialistic guy. I can say I don't care, but it matters. It's important, right?
Yeah.
Because presentation and first impression is everything. So
everything,
before you walk in the room, before you open your mouth, people already have a judgment of you. And not even a judgment. They already have sort of an idea. You give them an idea. Not that they have.
Right.
It's up to you to give them an idea. So make sure you're always dressed proper and make sure you're always representing what's up here and your body. And so the outfits, man. Like I've learned to. I usually dress very dark, dark colors. But lately, I've been. I've made it a mission, or I've made it a goal of mine to dress with more colors, dress with more vibrance, because that's who I am. And I feel like when people get the when I get to talk with somebody, and I get to fully express myself, that's the vibe that I give off. But some days are dark, some days are light, and so you just go off of what's inside. Yeah, playing on the outside. Yeah,
playing with your environment, however you feel.
Exactly, but definitely care about it. Definitely care about it.
I mean, it's important, right? To it's like you said, sometimes you only get one impression, and you can't let that control you. Though that's the difference. Like you can't be thinking, Gucci, Balenciaga, whatever it is. Like if you're not ready for that financially, or you're not ready for it in your life, like don't go out of your way to do that impress, because a lot of time it's more about the man in the shoes than the shoes you're wearing.
Correct.
To me personally, man, like I grew up, I was all like my parents, like just, oh my God, bro, it was like fashion, like all these high end brands, and it kind of I got to this point where I had like a rejection of that, so I was wearing like no name brands on me. Like you rarely see me wear a name brand, because I'm like, to me, I'm like,
Joneses. Like,
come on, man. Yeah, like to me, it's like I know that I have this charismatic personality to a certain extent, or I can connect with someone regardless of how I look. But at the same time, I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm not gonna meet someone for the first time and not, look right, and you gotta. It works together. It doesn't have to define you, but don't pretend that
you wear the clothes. The clothes don't wear you.
Yeah, like that.
I agree. Yeah.
Now, before we close this out, I just gotta know. I asked everyone in this interview, are you watching any TV shows, movies? Like, what's going on in your world? Because I think that influences a lot of like the decisions you make as an artist. So yeah.
So okay, so I just finished reading a book, The Alchemist.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you guys have read it, but go get that. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Dope book. Basically, it speaks about Shepard and this kid that goes around looking for his personal legend, is what he calls it, which is his dream. And so he got a message from a king from his village saying that he should go after this treasure that's in Egypt and the pyramids. So it's all about the kid's journey and like the people that he meets along that journey, etc. I just finished watching Squid Games.
Yeah.
I think the Squid Games is genius. I think the Squid Games is a dope show.
Yeah.
It's a crazy show. It's very, it's
psychological.
Very psychological. Yeah. It's but what I loved about it was, I think my biggest takeaway, and now that I'm looking back, I like the Pikachu EP, what we did with that, and even taking that risk of calling our project Los Pikachu.
Yeah.
With the type of music that's in there, it's just very childhood, but like everybody loves Pikachu, everybody loves Pokemon.
Yep.
So when I saw the Squid Games, what's dope about it is that all these games that they played are childhood games that most of us have played, whether it's marbles, whether it's green light, red light. Yeah. And so for them to like incorporate that, it connects with everyone, and that's why the show is so successful. Yeah. But to incorporate it in such a crazy, sinister way of, conspiracies that who knows if people are out here selling body parts. But, yeah. But that's what they, I think they're very successful in that, and that's why I always just want to incorporate that with my music and my way of being as well, is that childhood in us, because that's how we were first.
Yeah, that's when
that's your roots, man.
There's no filter, there's no influence at that point, so you're just unapologetically, like I said yourself. And I was curious if you had seen the Squid Games, because I was thinking the same exact thing with the Pikachu and the games and the childhood stuff, and like. The thing is, at the end of the day, a lot of times we put on this show or like, this adult version. But what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, if you get with the right people, you'll go right back into those childhood games and the memories and
a lot of the answers to what you want to do and what you're doing is in your roots. So it is, and that's not just with childhood, memories, but like your family. Stay close to your family. Keep God the closest. And as long as you always come back to your roots, you'll be able to recharge and go out into the world and keep going. Yeah, one thing I love about you too is like you really praise God and your religion and that's who you are, and like you're not ashamed of it. Of course, we're all sinners. I'm not perfect. I'm not in church every weekend, but I do keep a close relationship with the man above.
And I think that's what I love about you too, man. Is just like this is who I am. This is who I'm proud to be. I'm proud to be a Latino man, and like your family and I love your boy and cousin Brian too, man. Like Brian is
walking positivity.
Exactly. Man, the first time I met him, like it was like a little bit of a language issue with us, but we were still vibing, and like he's just a positive
Energy
guy,
and
it doesn't, man. And it's funny because when I saw him today, it was just, yo, what's up, man? It was like as if I was hanging with him yesterday. You know what I mean? Like so. The people you surround yourself with definitely has influence, and and I had to cut a lot of people out over the last 5 years, really, and it was and I kind of told him, look, it's nothing personal, but this is a decision I got to make for me, because the way you're looking at the world is not necessarily how I want to look at the world right now, because a lot of people have mental health issues and things like that, and it's a struggle for them to get over. And you have to get that help sometimes in order to go where you need to go. Right. And, so there was some people in my life that I think just, it wasn't having the positive effect. And and when you have an idea or you want to do something great, you can't have people necessarily surrounded by you who don't have that same kind of intensity and vision.
What are we doing? So the thing is that, with just people, with what you do for work, whatever it is, if it's not given, it's taken. If the people around you aren't giving you positive vibes, aren't giving you, love, aren't giving you time, then it's taken from you, And again, it's nothing personal, because most of the time it's people that we love, it's close ones, it might be family, but you got to know where you're heading, and you got to understand that, sometimes you got to grow you know, fall apart with some people, or like grow what's it called?
Yeah, it's like you gotta like grow apart or separate yourself from that, or sometimes it's like, hey, maybe our relationship is we just watch movies together, or we just listen to music, or we go out together.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for this space that I need to be in to achieve the things I want to do in life, whether that's a family, career, whatever, you don't fit into this puzzle. Correct, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that too. Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, I've known this person since I was 5 or 7,
or feel like they owe some type of attachment to. No, man.
It doesn't work that way. I mean, and family extends not just blood too. You know, like family is, you know, the people who are around you that have your back and will always be there for you. And so, man, I think you have a great team, and like I'm excited to see where your career is going and you as a man. So man, thank you for coming on. I'm glad, and I got you something too here. This is In the Heights.
Okay.
So even if you're not a Blu-ray guy, it's a digital. I don't know. Have you seen this?
I have the PS. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but Brian's cousin, brother Kevin, he was on the way. We were on the way here. Yeah. He asked me, "Have you seen In the Heights?"
For real.
So now
you're lying. Ta-da. You're lying. That's crazy, man. So this movie is Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I actually learned today he's the cousin of Residente from Cal 13.
He's Calle 13. Yeah. Super we were just listening to him on the way here.
That's
too.
crazy.
What's happening right
now?
Am I being punked?
That's so funny. Yeah. I know his girlfriend. So I went to school with her, and so so like it just kind of all came together. And I was like, I started listening to music. And then it was funny is like, so I started listening to that, and that's what kind of got me into that type of music, the Latin rap and the hip hop and all that stuff. And then so when I heard you, like, it's full circle, bro. This is crazy. This is really crazy. Right. But no, so this movie is directed by John Chu. He did Crazy Rich Asians, and like when he does his work, it's like over the top. Yeah. Like it's over the top. Like he goes all in with the sets. And so this movie is set in Brooklyn or Manhattan.
I think or Bronx, or maybe Bronx. I saw like a trailer of it on YouTube one day, but and I think I saw an interview on him.
Yeah, and so this is like a fusion of that American world and your roots. Right. And so I wanted to give this to you because I feel that's something that you do in your music a lot, and you explore. And I think this movie is super influential in this next generation, and I know that's what you're gonna be too, bro.
Thank you so much,
I want to make sure you have that.
Man. We're definitely gonna get inspired by this, man. In the Heights.
That's man.
Thanks, team.
All right, man. So everyone, that's Skip2Dip, my man, my guy. Let them know where they can find you.
What's going on, people? You guys can find me at Skip2Dip. Thank you so much for being part of this interview and for sharing this moment with us. And more music coming on the way. Normalito is out now on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, and all the platforms. Thank you, T.
All right, my man.
For inviting me on, man.
Absolutely.
Circle Club. We're gonna do big things. We're gonna be working a lot more together, and have a great weekend, guys.
All right, man. And the way I like to end my podcast is with our motto. Just be you.
Just be you.
That's all you can do, right? Peace.
Shorty from Barbados. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Well, I can't fight Halo. Last time I seen a shorty like you, my crib had cable. I don't remember the last time that my crib had cable.